Hi, and welcome to the fourth video in our 4-video series on the ARIA framework, which is focused on increasing engagement with the features throughout our product. In this video, we'll focus on the assist and the repeat steps. For context, the ARIA framework has 4 key principles: analyze, reduce, introduce, and assist. And then there's an implicit 5th principle, which reminds us to repeat the usage of those 4 key principles. So let's start with the assist principle. The goal here is to assist the user in using the feature successfully. And there's 4 key areas that we want to focus on. The first is to provide guidance to the user by telling them what to do. And a common tactic there is to provide step-by-step instructions. We do that with our own setup process. And here's an example as well of what Shopify does to help set up their product. A second thing you can do is focus on empty states. There's the first use empty state where there's nothing to see yet and you want to give the user some guidance on what to do next. And here's an example from Notion when you've just opened a new document and it guides you in the different ways you can start putting information into that document. There's also the notion of a no results empty state where you've done a search, for example, and got no results back, and we could provide them with some guidance on here are things you can do to get results next time. A second area to focus on is providing examples. And the difference here is rather than telling them what to do, we're more showing them what to do. So here's some cases where we have samples or examples. In our own product with Sage, we're providing some seed questions for the user. So they'll see some samples of the things that they can ask, and they can use those directly, and it helps them understand how to use Sage. Loom provides some examples of different ways you can use the product for making introductions or replacing meetings or giving feedback. So all of these are ways to provide examples of what they can do, show the user what they can do with that feature. Another thing you can do is to provide templates, which are a bit different from examples because these are things that help you get started. So in Miro, for example, when you first open the app, it gives you a long list of potential templates that you can use that will get you started and save a lot of time. Also, you can do things like go to a site and get code snippets. They have all kinds of samples for, say, HTML and CSS. If you're looking to create a particular type of menu or you want a particular type of tab bar, they give you templates which you can then customize however you see fit. And maybe we could do something similar with formulas. Often people find it a little challenging to create some formulas, so maybe we could create templates of the most commonly used formulas that people can go in and start with and edit as they need. A third area to focus on is the use of smart defaults. Whenever we are asking the user for information, is there a way we can kind of default the answer to something intelligent? So here's an example of a travel site where they are filling in the from location based on the user's location. So if they're in New York, you can fill out New York's JFK Airport as their from location. May not be right every time, but it can save them time by filling in something intelligent. Some examples of what we could do. If you're looking at Monitor, you need to schedule an alert with Monitor. In terms of setting the time zone, we can save them time by using their local time zone that we can get from their browser or from their operating system. Or with Monitor, when we're trying to set up a threshold alert. Many times people aren't going to know what the maximum and minimum values they should use as the threshold. So we can help them by providing what the max and min values of that KPI have been over the last few months and use those as defaults to help them answer the questions of what should I set the limits to be for these threshold alerts. And the fourth thing that you want to do is focus on providing helpful error messages that not only describe what the error is, but also help you resolve it. So here's an example from Dropbox where the user has provided an incorrect email address, and it alerts them to that, and it also says what's missing, that they're missing the @ sign. Or here's an example from Slack where the user went to upload a photo that was too large. It tells them the photo was too large, and it also tells them the maximum size that can be used when they try again. So that really goes through the last of the 4 key principles of the ARIA framework. But I also wanted to end with that 5th one, the notion of repeating these processes. So you can't go through each of these once and then assume you're done. This is something where you're going to go through them continuously and do some A/B testing to see if your ideas worked and actually drove increased engagement with your feature. And part of the reason you need to remember to repeat these things is, in my experience, experiments rarely yield the results that you wanted the first time. They generally don't work the first time, and many of you have heard me say that if your experiment works on your first attempt, you should consider yourself lucky. Generally, what you need to do is take the results from your experiment, learn from that, and then try again. So if you want to find out more about the ARIA framework and more examples, click the link below. And if you have any comments or questions, please let me know. Thanks for watching.